Listen, I know I look stupid right now with this hat, but I just want to try something different. I just want to, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of my least viewed videos. I mean, my videos don't get a ton of views, but I feel like it's going to be one of my least viewed videos. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to wear a hat, which I never do. I never wear hats in real life unless I'm working. So I decided I'm going to wear this hat for this review. So whatever. Anyways, so The Last of Us. The Last of Us has wrapped up. It wrapped up a while ago. Listen, I know I've been a little tardy to the party, but the truth is I've been a little busy. I've been having a lot of things going on in my life, school and work, and but I'm back and I'm here to talk about some movies. I mean, we're not talking about a movie right now. We're talking about a TV show. We're talking about The Last of Us. So I reviewed the first episode when it came out, and I didn't review any of the other ones. Not because I didn't like the show or anything like that, but I kind of forgot. And it just, I don't know. I find now that I have a lot less free time than I used to when I first started this channel. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop anytime soon. I'm still going to be making these videos, but it's just that I don't have as much time as I used to. So I just have to, pick and choose wisely, So I just didn't have the time to review every episode. But now the show's done, it's been done for a while, I am finally able to talk about it. So when I reviewed the first episode, I said it was very good. And yeah, that's my opinion of the whole show. Um, I, if you didn't know, I love The Last of Us. It is my favorite zombie story ever told. I think it's beautiful. I love it. Joel and Ellie are both great. And, when the show was announced, I wasn't that excited for it. I mean, I recognize why it's being made because this is a great story and not everybody plays video games. So it's good to adapt it into a medium that is consumed by, let's face it, it's consumed by a lot more people, Like a lot of people in my life that I love don't play video games, you know what I mean? So it's good that they have a way to experience the story in a way that is more comfortable for them, something that they're used to more. And yeah, for me, I gotta say, I love the game, and going into the show, I didn't want to be too much of a critic. I didn't want to be like, well, they changed this and they changed that. I was just like, I love this story, and I'm excited to experience it again with a new perspective. That's how I saw it. I didn't want to look at this and say like this is gonna be better or this is gonna be worse. I wanted to look at it and think like this is a different version of this story, and I think the show is very good. Um, we're gonna go episode by episode. Episode one, I already talked about, but in short, really liked it. Really like what they did with Sarah. Really like how they expanded on the first part of the game. Really loved it. Episode two was basically just gameplay. That episode was literally just like, here's gameplay from The Last of Us translated into a TV show. It's very well done. It's enjoyable. It was good. That part where Tess was kissed by the zombie, I didn't understand that. I know there's probably a reason for that. I just didn't really understand it. I thought it was kind of weird. I was like, okay. But anyways, episode 3 was by far my favorite episode of the show. I thought it was a masterpiece. I watched it 4 times. I thought it was beautiful. I thought Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett, I'm sorry if I said his name wrong, they both did incredible jobs. They both deserve Emmys. Um, it was such a beautiful episode. It made me cry. It made me cry. Not like tear up. It didn't make me go like, it didn't make me emotional. I was crying. And I don't do that in movies or shows a lot. I didn't even do that well, no, that's not true. I did do that at the Last of Us game, but I don't do that for movies and shows. I don't really cry that much because I know it's not real. And this shit had me bawling, man. This was the second time that this show made me cry. The first time was Sarah's death, which was, By the way, I'm spoiling the whole show. Sorry, but no, yeah, I thought it was a beautiful episode. I thought it was just heartbreaking and emotional, and I actually thought it was kind of a happy ending because let's face it, everybody in life is gonna meet their fate at the end. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that Bill and Frank were able to have their end on their own terms and in a way where they can truly embrace and love each other, I think that's pretty beautiful. You know, and it was just so great. It was so well done. I loved it. It was such a great episode. It was a masterpiece. It was a 10 out of 10. It was one of the best episodes I've ever seen. It's up there with Ozymandias. It's just amazing. It's just an amazing episode on every level. Episode 4 was pretty alright. I did not really care much for that extra thing they added with this woman, and she's the leader of this, like, gang. I just didn't care for it. I thought it was kind of dumb. I didn't think it added much to the show in the end. I get what they were trying to do, but it just didn't work for me. Sorry. It was my least favorite episode. It wasn't bad, but it's just one of them has to be the worst, so. Yeah, episode 5 was the Henry and Sam episode, which was, again, very well done. I will admit, this was the first time, because up until this point, I've been thinking, like, okay, this show is a really great adaptation. But this was the first time in the show where I thought to myself, like, the game did it better. Because, I don't know, I just felt like this backstory they added with Sam and Henry, it was something where I'm like, okay, I get why you added it, but it didn't really make anything more meaningful, I guess. Feel free to disagree with me. I just didn't feel like it added much. But I did quite love that scene where all the infected came out like ants, out of the ground. It was scary. It was well done. I loved it. And the ending, it was well done. It was sad. Although I did enjoy how it was done in the game more, where Henry just dies and then it cuts straight to spring. In this one, there's like a little scene in between, but then they want to have their cake and eat it too. So episode 6 starts out with that scene and then the cut, and I'm like, all right, guys, come on, pick one or the other. Episode 6 was really good. Really liked episode 6. Loved Pedro Pascal's performance in this one. It was. I love that scene where he breaks down, telling Tommy, "I'm just gonna get her killed." It was so well done. And people found the last 10 minutes rushed. I didn't think it was rushed. I actually thought it was very well done. For being only 10 minutes, they managed to get a lot done. Episode 7. What was episode 7? Episode 7 was Left Behind. So, surprisingly, not a lot of people, at least not as many people who played The Last of Us, played Left Behind. I did. I like Left Behind. I think it's cute. But, I don't know. I think Left Behind is a good story, and I think on its own, this was a good episode. But I think in context of the show, I don't really know if it worked. I can't really think of any other place in the story where I would put this, but at the same time, I felt like it robbed a lot of momentum. And maybe that I wouldn't feel this way if I just binged the show in one sitting, but watching it week to week, I just felt like, I don't know, I would have liked more intercuts between Ellie in the present and Ellie in the past, you know what I mean? But I still thought it was a well done episode. I thought the actress Storm Reed, who played Riley, did a really great job. And it was tragic, it was sad, and that's why I play Last of Us, because it makes me depressed. Episode 8 was... My favorite part of The Last of Us 1 is winter. And this episode did it very well. And they made David, who was already an evil, evil piece of shit in the game, in the show, they made him the worst. I don't even think I've ever seen a fictional character worse than this motherfucker. Because let's go through all the things he is. He is a cult leader. He slapped a child in the face, child abuser. He's a rapist. He was going to assault Ellie at the end. He's a pedophile. He suggested to Ellie that they have a relationship. He's a murderer, which, okay, I mean, it's the Last of Us universe, so, I mean, sure. I'll count that one out. But he's also a cannibal. This man is the most evil character I've ever seen. This dude makes Homelander look like a nice, well, I don't know, maybe that's taking it too far, but god damn, he was evil. But I thought the actor did a good job. And it was cool seeing Troy Baker. He was cool too. I did not like the change they did at the end. In the original Last of Us game, Ellie kills David, and Joel sees this, and he stops Ellie, and it's like, it's me. And they embrace, and he calls her baby girl for the first time, and it's really the first time in The Last of Us where the two really accept and love each other as important parts of the other's lives. Maybe not the first one, but it's one of the most meaningful to me. And in the show, they change it to where Ellie goes outside, and then Joel, for some reason, sneaks up on her. And it just doesn't make as much sense, and I think it just works better in the game. I just think it was done better. But it wasn't bad. It was still a good episode. And episode 9, I really loved. I don't really have any complaints with it. I thought it was so well done. I just love the ending of The Last of Us, and I think it was great seeing that ending again. It's a well done story, you know. I love the scene where Joel is killing everybody because it's cool seeing people get shot, but at the same time, what's more important than the people getting shot is the decision Joel is making. And I love the after the episode where they talk about stuff behind the scenes. They say this was the easiest decision Joel's ever made in his life, and I love that. I love the ending of The Last of Us. Like, Joel sees Ellie and he thinks to himself, this is the last thing that could save humanity. It's not a guarantee, but it could save humanity. And Joel doesn't even hesitate. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And he kills everybody and he saves Ellie. He didn't even think about it. There's just something about that I think is so meaningful. You know? And hey, you know what? You know what? Hot take. Joel made the right choice. He made the right choice. Humanity is so shit. In The Last of Us, everybody is killing each other and they're fucking horrible people. You know, everybody has become like worse versions of themselves because of this apocalypse. You know, a cure wasn't going to fix that. You know, even if there were no infected, really a lot of the problems from the show came from people, not infected. This world is not worth saving. And it wasn't even a guarantee. So, hot take, Joel did nothing wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Of course Joel did a lot of shit wrong. And that decision, I'm not saying it was the right thing to do or it was moral. I'm just saying I completely understand why he did it. You know, not just from a I love Ellie perspective. I mean, that was he probably wasn't thinking about all the shit that I just said. He was probably solely thinking about Ellie. But you gotta look at it from all angles, you know. I completely understand why Joel did what he did. And yeah, that's season 1 of The Last of Us. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey both did an amazing job. They should both be nominated for everything. They both did great. Pedro Pascal Joel was very different from Troy Baker Joel. I felt like Bella Ramsey and Ashley Johnson as Ellie, they were both very similar. They both were great, but I feel like Pedro Pascal Joel and Troy Baker Joel are very different. Not to say that one's better, one's worse. They're just different, you know? They still feel like the same character at the end of the day, but I feel like Pedro Pascal's Joel, he was a little more like stoic, a little more like, for lack of a better term, like broken. Like he had no emotion in the first 2 episodes, and I think it worked well for the character. I love Ellie. Ashley Johnson, that flashback in the beginning of episode 9, the finale, where they reveal why Ellie is immune. I kind of thought to myself, like, that is a pretty rare thing to happen, I'm sure. But there's no way Ellie is the only person in the world this has happened to. This has to have happened to at least dozens more people, you know? But I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool. I'm like, I guess that makes sense why she's immune. It's cool that they gave an origin story to that. I mean, I didn't need it. I was fine with Ellie just being immune. But the fact that they gave an origin for that, I think is neat. I think it makes sense. It's cool. And fuck Marlene. Fuck that character. So in the end, I thought The Last of Us Season 1 was pretty good. It was very enjoyable. As someone who played the game, I thought it was very enjoyable to see this new take on it every week. All the actors did great. The story was well done. I agree with some people criticizing that there wasn't enough infected. Now, I'm not someone who says that, like, oh, zombies make everything better. All you need to do is kill zombies every episode. I feel like, especially in the second half of the show, I just felt like there weren't as many infected as there should have been. Like, at one point, I kind of forgot that this was, like, a zombie apocalypse, you know? But I don't know. That's a nitpick. I still really like the show. I think it was well done. But for me, personally, I'm always going to prefer The Last of Us, the game. I'm always just going to prefer that experience. Because, I mean, it was first. Honestly, when it comes to the 2, I was probably just going to prefer whichever one I saw first. But for me, The Last of Us 1, I just think it works very well. For me, as the game, you know, I just think you just can't beat the source material. But you did a damn good job of adapting it. Give it an 8 out of 10. And The Last of Us 2, I said this in the first review, but I think Last of Us 2 is total dog shit. Okay, maybe it's not that bad. Last of Us 2, I'm not going to spoil Last of Us 2 for anybody who hasn't played it, but that game is nowhere near as good as the first game, unfortunately. It is very disappointing on a lot of levels. I think there's some great stuff in it. There's some stuff I really love in Last of Us 2, but it is deeply, deeply flawed, and I'm very curious to see what season 2 is going to do, because apparently it's going to be more than one season, so I don't know. But yeah, Last of Us, I love it. Love the game. Love the show. And maybe I should play Last of Us 2 again. Maybe I should play that game again because I played it once when it came out, and I had very mixed feelings about it. I think maybe it's been a few years. I should give it another go, and maybe I'll like it a lot more. All right, so that's Last of Us. Last of Us season 1 is very, very good.